I would rather tell you the truth than make up a lie. I held no love for this woman, and my responsibilities always made me put up a barrier. No one could make it through. When you're immortal, sometimes you remain so disconnected that you will never be able to understand how emotional an individual is after one interaction in your existence. This woman has been a consistent annoyance for too many lifetimes. It's so hard to understand her anger, all things considered. But in her twisted mind, she thought we were soulmates and felt a way about my decision to distance myself. Weird, right? Every lifetime she tries to kill me, defeat me in a challenge, or manipulate me to some degree to attain some type of spiritual growth. I am more embarrassed for the individuals associated with this horrid soul. Everything that you can name or consider a karmic to attempt when harvesting energy, this diabolical individual participated in consistently throughout her lifetimes. The Dark Ages, revolutions, Babylon have passed, and human advancement has stagnated because low vibrational spiritualists indulge similar behavior, and if anything, encourage it. She masks herself as holy, but she is the very incarnation of evil. She may be the head of a coven or society. Yikes. The thought itself is unconscionable, because I know her obsession with me has crippled them. Probably have a connection to many she secretly despises, but for sure, that has only brought more issues, stagnant accomplishment, and continuous failure to all of you. I bet she has you sacrificing someone from her tutelage as a scapegoat. Typical for her, honestly. Most times it's young men or boys, her companions or groups associated with her, that gets the brunt of the karma. Anyway, it seems she believes the lunacy readers are the reason for her demise. No, it is her. A few thousand years after meeting her initially in what is now known as Romania, there she was again on the opposing side of a war. I was going by the name of Lad, and she was a consort of a sultan. I remember growing up in the royal home, and occasionally I would see her, and each time she would give me the meanest look or pinch me. One day I was playing with the prince, and I had to find him, of course, and I went into the wine cellar, or whatever you call them. A large vase-like container was shaken, and I went to open it, and a snake rose up staring me in the eyes. I was in a trance, and it wrapped itself around my small arms and got so close to my face, but an inch before it reached me, it bowed its head and it started dancing. Weird memory, but I know I saw her behind the door staring, disgust in her eyes, and she turned briskly and walked off. In her exit, two teenage boys hurried behind her, and I stood there in shock as the snake slithered off my arm into a corner. Never saw it again, but that would not be the last time she attempted to kill me. Poison, strangulation, or spell work was her choice of attempts, but I would never die. It's like I became stronger as her attempts became more dramatic. I hated the situation, but relished the opportunity to observe and learn from my enemy. Quick historic fact. I have never lost a battle to any of my enemies throughout my existence. Ambushed, poisoned, murdered, or spell work have been the choice of my enemies, but never on the field of battle. Never with intellect or wit, but cowardice or the assistance of a betrayer. But back to the story. I abhorred the thought my countrymen were being taken, the women traded, and this behavior was to be avenged. Years later, and by this time's customs, I was a man, and she an evil old woman. They would continue to collect boys from our lands to harvest energy, and at night she would take a few to sacrifice, and the Sultan had me stand and stare as she completed her rituals, her smiling at me as if she wasn't doing something inhumane and sinister. My eyes would be red from silent crying, malice lacing every tear, anger coursing through every vein, and revenge being woven for every child taken in the future. From the moment the first drop of blood hit the ground, her fate was sealed. In each lifetime, the goal of karmic spiritualists is to kill me before I awaken. They would rather wage war as a distraction, create a lot of chaos, attack spiritually from a distance, anything but me awaken. I didn't in this specific lifetime, and oddly enough, they consider me to be many things, but no one actually takes into consideration the trauma I experienced at the hand of that diabolical establishment. What would a child do when they grow up seeing the most evil things done to their people and be told to stand there and watch? I cannot even stomach the stuff those people did. Just know fate and karma met on a silent night. Not even the moon showed its face. At this point, more time passed, and I was now the leader of my people, heading an army moving straight for a secret encampment that held the royal supplies. As men advanced, silently entering areas and quieting the royal guard with their swords, I came across a familiar covering with a morbid stench. I entered, and there the Sultan stood off to the side being held by my men, and a woman stood at an altar, eyes wide. Once lustrous hair, now grayed, exuberant skin, now grayish, intoxicating beauty, faded, and eyes dead, stared at me. We said nothing to one another, and every man stood surrounding her, had tears falling and memories flooding their minds of all her ill actions that sometimes were in rituals, but other proclivities I will not mention. Without thinking, I approached with vengeful intent, blade drawn, and 2 steps later a head rolled down the steps. There was no need to prolong or have a monologue. Some evil should never exist, and everyone exited without a word. They called me the Impeller, but no one speaks on the atrocities handed down to the men, women, and children of my lands. As time has passed, the winds carry my truth, and the spirits execute my judgment. Hell has awaited her evil soul, and the Reaper is here to collect. She continued her acts, and many have assisted and embraced a fall from grace, a goal no one should have, but many have strived so low to achieve. This is for every woman she dominated, each man she prostrated, and the innocent children's future she destroyed for false power. I am death, and death is staring her in the eyes.